Hello, my dear friend. A very good evening to all of you. And आज हम लोग पढ़ने वाले हैं तीन टाइप के कोहॉर्ट स्टडीज के बारे में, केस कंट्रोल स्टडीज के बारे में, जो बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट और सिंपल टॉपिक है, बट लोगों ने कंफ्यूज किया है सिर्फ. सो वी विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस टू टॉपिक वेरी इजली. फर्स्ट थिंग इज केस एंड कंट्रोल. Like this is a common thing which we say to our friends also sometime कि you are a case man, है ना, कि तू एक केस है भाई. So if we say someone as a case, it means there is something abnormal present in case. So case is the one who have some disease or who is having something abnormal is a case, है ना. Disease or outcome is present, some kind of different thing is already present in the case. Okay, so outcome present. And we say this thing, you are very control type of person. Control means you are normal. Normal means control is the one who is without disease. And this is a very important concept to remember, that whenever we talk about case control study, it start with two group. In one group the outcome is present and in another group outcome is absent. In Hindi we can simply understand is केस का मतलब जिसमें परिणाम है ना, परिणाम है वो केस है, और जिसमें परिणाम नहीं है ना, फल या परिणाम फाइनल रिजल्ट नहीं है, वो कंट्रोल है. सो इफ द टू ग्रुप starting point is clear, we can clearly understand that in case control we start with outcome, go to exposure. परिणाम से शुरू करते हुए पता लगाते हैं कि पिछले समय में कारण क्या था. इसलिए केस कंट्रोल को कहते हैं परिणाम से कारण की ओर, है ना. व्हाट आई वाज सेइंग इन हिंदी वाज, इन केस कंट्रोल वी स्टार्ट विथ आउटकम, देन गो इन द पास्ट हिस्ट्री टू नो द रीजन. दैट्स व्हाई केस कंट्रोल इज नोन एज आउटकम टू एक्सपोजर. ओके, so let's understand it with some example, and let's understand what are the steps which we do in a case control study. So the first step is we start with recruitment of case and control. Okay, and while recruiting case and control, outcome present, outcome absent two group, we make it sure that they are matched. Matching is done. So what does this matching mean? क्या मतलब है matching का? See, matching means recruiting almost similar type of participant in the two group. Okay, of course no two people in the world can be exactly similar, but if you are recruiting or not requirement, it's wrong. If you are recruiting, है ना, recruiting similar people in two group, not exactly similar but somewhat similar, in which something is similar, somewhat similar people in two group, we call this thing as matching. Matching यानी जोड़े बना बना के हम उनको स्टडी में ले रहे हैं. We are first comparing them for some characteristic and then we are taking them in the study, and after recruiting them by matching, we then take the past history, and after taking past history, in the fourth and final step, we calculate odds ratio. That means we do analysis of data. Always remember that in any study, analysis of data is the fourth step, final step, and recruitment is the first step. So recruitment and analysis are same, only second and third step can differ. In RCT it is different. We will talk about it when we will go to RCT. So second is recruitment, matching, and then recruiting similar type of people, matching, and then third is past history. So let's understand it with a some real example. But I would like to know that if you have some outcome in your mind on which you want to do research, you can tell it, and we will learn this topic on your idea. So do you have some idea in your mind on which you want to do the study? One group where outcome is present, one group where outcome is absent, any outcome which is common in medical student or which is common in general people on which we can do this study. Do you have some idea on which you want to do such a study? If you have such idea, please post it in the comment box and I will do study on your idea. But for the beginning, let's take a real example. Suppose, let's say we go back in the time. You are now in 2020, okay, Jan-Feb 2020, when Corona has just started in India and world. Okay, let's go back in time there. So at that time, the world was not aware how the Corona really spread. But because in 1918 flu, which occur in Spain and many other countries, we used mask and all, and it spread from person to person. So we thought it can spread by contact with some infected person. So let's say you are back in that time, January, February 2020, and you want to know how the corona is spreading. And for that, you took 100 people who are COVID positive. So because they are COVID positive, we can call them outcome present or diseased. And you took 100 people who were COVID negative. And then from both the group, you collected past history of last, let's say, past history of last 5 days. Okay. So what do you think? What all can be the history, can be the reason why corona spread? What do you think are the reason of spread of corona? One reason can be, of course, contact with infected person. So one history you will take is contact in last 5 days, contact history. Okay. Second reason of having corona is, let's say, not using mask. So then second history you will ask is, are you using mask or not? Not using mask can be one reason. So contact history you will take here also. Not using mask you will take here also. Then third reason can be, let's say, travel history to some area which is COVID positive like China and all. So third history you can take travel history also, you know, travel history also. So like that we can search about many reasons. So this is one important thing you have to understand. In case control, we start with one outcome, one disease, and we try to find out multiple reasons for that. And we try to compare that which reason is more responsible for the disease. Okay. And when you are taking two group of people, COVID positive, COVID negative, you have to match them before taking. You cannot take young people in one group who are COVID positive and old people in another group who are COVID negative. You cannot take international traveler here in COVID positive and general population as COVID negative. And you have to, if you took traveler in this COVID positive, you have to take traveler in COVID negative group also. If you took, let's say, 20 to 30-year people in the COVID positive group, you have to take 20 to 30-year people in the COVID negative group. इसी को कहते हैं मैचिंग. मतलब almost similar in some characteristic. They should be similar, है ना, लगभग एक जैसे. Now you will take the contact history. So when you will take the contact history in the COVID positive group, of course, before you ask them about their history of contact, they themselves are thinking कि वो कौन कमीना था जिसने मेरे को कोरोना फैलाया, है ना. बगल में बैठी हुई बंदी जो लग तो अच्छी रही थी, क्या उसने फैला दिया या बंदे ने बगल वाले फैला दिया. So before, what I was saying in Hindi was, before the report came, you already emphasized on your brain and try to recall that who was that rascal who spread COVID to me. So before the doctor will ask, you will be ready with answer. And in this group, out of 100 people, almost 99 will recall some contact history. So 99 will give contact history. Actually, all 100 came in contact. But one of the person, he went to such a place which he cannot tell to doctors and all. So he hide the history. 99 gave contact history. But if you ask the same question from the other group who are COVID negative, they are not worried. They will not emphasize on their brain because they got the negative report. since they got the negative report, they are chilled out. They will not try to recall. उनको घंटा फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, क्यों याद करेंगे वो? They will not try to memorize because they are negative. And when you will ask, tell me about your contact history and all, they will say, no, 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 there was no contact. And these days corona is there. I was in my room, then I went to my bathroom, then I came back to my room. In this day, even when I meet my girlfriend, boyfriend, I only give flying kiss and no touching, no kiss and no contact. So they will give a fake history because they have not emphasized in their brain. They will not try to recall because they are disease free. So in this group, how many do you think will give contact history out of 100? 20, 30. Suppose let's say in this group 50 gave recall history, contact history. So 50 gave contact history here maximum, and 99 gave contact history there. So this is 3-step done. First we recruit people, then we match them for the age, then we took past history. Now the fourth and final step is analysis of data. And for analysis of data, here we use odds ratio. What is odds ratio means? It means chance of disease out of exposed by chance of disease out of non-exposed. Let me explain this thing properly to you with the help of a 2x2 table. 2x2. In this 2x2 table, we write disease here like COVID positive and non-disease here like COVID negative. Okay. We always write disease, non-disease in the upper 2 column, and exposed, non-exposed we write in this 2 column. Like here it is exposed above, and here they are non-exposed. So what is the exposure which we are comparing? We are comparing contact history here. So first above half we will write those in which contact was there, and below half there are people who have no contact. So contact people are exposed are A and B. And people who don't came in contact, no contact, C and D, they were non-exposed. इतना तो समझ में आ रहा है, आई थिंक कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. एक्सपोज्ड का मतलब होता है कारण. तो यहां पर कोरोना होने का कारण है कि आप किसी के कांटेक्ट में आए थे. तो ऊपर हम उनको लिखेंगे जिनमें कांटेक्ट हिस्ट्री है, और नीचे हम उनको लिखेंगे जिनमें कांटेक्ट हिस्ट्री नहीं है. एक्सपोज्ड मींस रीजन, रिस्क फैक्टर. So above half we write those where risk factor is present like contact history, and below half we write those in which contact history or risk factor is absent. Okay, so this is exposed, non-exposed, A, B, C, D. Now in our story, how many people were COVID positive? 100. And how many people were COVID negative? They were also 100. And out of these 100, how many COVID positive people gave contact history? Remember? You remember it from here? You can see it. In the COVID positive, 99 gave history. In the COVID negative, only 50 gave history. So, in the COVID positive, contact history was by 99 people. But in the, and 1 people was no contact history. But in the COVID negative group, in this group, you can see 50 gave contact history and 50 do not remember any contact history. So this is the 2x2 table which will come out. Now, in odds ratio, what we are writing? Chance of disease out of exposed. Who are exposed? A and B. Tell me, out of A and B, who are having corona? A is having corona or B is having corona? B are people who are COVID negative. Corona was in A. So when we write chance of disease out of exposed, we write it A by B. Because A, B are exposed, and out of A and B who are exposed, disease is in A. Okay. Similarly, when we are writing chance of disease out of non-exposed, who are non-exposed? C and D are non-exposed. And out of C and D non-exposed, who have disease? कोरोना किसको है? C को या D को? आप बताओ. कोविड है एक इंसान C. So out of non-exposed, disease is in C. That's why in this part we write C by D. Because disease, COVID is in C, and C and D both are non-exposed. So this is the formula which will come out for odds ratio A by B divided by C by D. and then in the next step C by D can go above. और आपको तो ये पता ही होगा कि जो भी नीचे से ऊपर आता है वो उल्टा पुल्टा हो जाता है. Whoever come from below to above, denominator to numerator will turn upside down. So it will finally become A by B multiplied by D by C. And this is the formula of odds ratio, AD by BC. Okay. अब देखो आप, in this example, A is here, D is here, B is here, C is here. So when we write A, D, B, C, we are doing cross multiplication. That is why odds ratio is also known as cross product ratio, because we are doing AD into BC, cross multiplication. So do remember this point. Cross product ratio is not found in cross sectional study. It is found in case control study. And in our example, what do you think will be the odds ratio? Let's solve it. What will be the AD by BC which will come out? You can see it. A is 99, D is 50, B is 50, and C is 1. So if you solve out, 50-50 will cut out, and finally it is 99. And when it came 99, what does it mean? It means that chance of COVID is 99 times more. Chance of COVID is 99 times more in people who came in contact. जो लोग कांटेक्ट में आए थे उन लोगों में कोरोना होने का चांस 99% ज्यादा है. 99% नहीं, 99 गुना ज्यादा है. Those who came in contact have 99 times more chance of having corona. And as soon as this result came, the whole world applied curfew. Because if the chance is 99 times more, then by curfew we can prevent this spread of corona. We can prevent people from getting COVID positive. So the whole world applied curfew except one country, Sweden. Sweden said, no. This data which you are getting is a wrong, over-exaggerated data. Because you can see it yourself. Do you think people who are COVID negative, in this group only 50 came in contact? Of course not. People who were COVID negative also in last 5 days, they also must come in contact with someone. So the contact history was almost equal. But because the disease group remember it, non-disease forget it, we get this unequal, exaggerated data. So Sweden said, we will not trust on this data because it is based on case control study which has recall bias. One group remember, one group forget. And when they compared the number of cases in Sweden as compared to US UK who had the strictest curfew, they had 3 times more COVID case as compared to Sweden, which has 1/3 case without curfew. So I hope you are realizing what is the power of case control study, what is the power of preventive social medicine. By one wrong data, the whole world applied curfew and economy of many countries of the world went down. And many breakup happened due to this COVID lockdown. You must have felt it also. Like boy and girl, they want to go out to meet with their boyfriend, girlfriend, but the family member are asking, where are you going? They can't even tell ki we are going to take kiss, because then there will be contact history between them. So it broken a lot of relationship, broken economy of many country, and all this data is due to this recall bias of case control study. What is this recall bias? I hope it is clear to you. Recall bias clearly means that people who are suffering from disease, cases means disease, they remember what happened in the past because they are suffering. So they emphasized in their brain and they recall it. But people who are normal without corona, they forget about past history, which lead to wrong result. And this is one major problem of case control study, that whenever we do it, one group remember history, one group forget. The disease group remember it, non-disease group forget. And we get wrong data. So that's why case control study is not so good study. But case control study is something which is very easy to do for rare disease. It can be done for common disease also, but case control is easy to do for rare disease. What does it mean by saying easy to do for rare disease? See, suppose you want to know what is the reason of throat cancer. Okay, so you have taken one group people who are having throat cancer, one group people who are not having throat cancer. It is case control, throat cancer present, throat cancer absent. And you ask the past history that did you used to smoke BD in the past? BD, you know, na? Small sister of cigarette, है ना, BD. So in 1 week, you can take the past history from 100 throat cancer, 100 non-throat cancer patient, and you will know that BD smoking can cause throat cancer. But if you want to do cohort study on the same topic, cohort study goes in future. It start with 1,000 people who are BD smoker, 1,000 people who are non-BD smoker, and a risk factor present absent. And then we will follow them for, let's say, 10 years. And then out of this 1,000, 2-3 people will develop throat cancer. So this type of study, 1,000 people for 10-year follow-up, is very costly, very time-taking. But case control, just take history and it will be done. So that's why I am saying case control is easy to do for rare disease. But remember it, that case control can be done for common disease also. But it is easy to do for rare disease. Okay. And I can say one more thing about case control. It is done very quickly. It is less time taking. Just by taking history, you can do it. And it is less time taking and cost effective. Very less money is spent here. And that is why all the people who like to bring the change in ground situation, they love case control study. Because in case control study, we don't have to waste time and money on study. Just finish the study and start bringing the change. But all the professors of medical colleges and all, especially international medical colleges and all, they love to do cohort. Because in cohort study, a lot of fund is needed, a lot time will be taken, and they have all the time in the world. They actually don't want to bring the change. So people working in ground, they like case control. People working in colleges and all, university and all, they love cohort. And always remember, cohort is better than case control. Because in case control, we are taking past history and we don't know what actually happened in past. But in cohort, we are observing them. We are doing follow-up. So we can see what is happening with them. And that makes cohort study more reliable. Okay. So I hope this difference and this part is clear to you. Is this recall bias, case control study, odds ratio clear to you, or should I explain it with one more example? Do let me know in the comment box. Nikhil bro, can I see any question, suggestion? Thank you so much. So first of all, you are laughing and that I like a lot. Thank you. Now, Dr. Anant Krishnan has a question. Sir, shouldn't numerator be A by A plus B? I was expecting this question. Very good, Dr. Anant Krishnan. Let me explain this thing to you. Ron is saying, I'm missing your lecture in the college. Thank you. Okay. And Sutapa Sumanta is wishing for have one more example. Why not? So let's first discuss what was the doubt of Dr. Ananta Krishnan. Ananta Krishnan has a doubt that when we are talking about chance of disease out of exposed, so exposed people are A and B both. So why are we writing it A by B? Why we cannot write it A by A plus B? Because exposed are not only B, exposed are A plus B both. Very good doubt, dear. See, let me explain this thing with an example which you need not to write. Don't write this thing because it will only confuse you in future. But I am telling it just to quench your thirst for knowledge. Let me tell you this thing. See, what happened is, initially, case control was being done for rare disease. Initially, in the initial day when it was formed. And suppose you are trying to find some rare disease association. Let's go with the same example. You want to know what is the reason of throat cancer. Okay. And there is other group with no throat cancer. So to know this thing, you first took some people who smoke BD and some people who were non-smoker, suppose. In both the group, BD smoker and non-smoker, you took 10,000 people in both the group. Okay. Throat cancer, 10,000 people were taken in both the group. And out of this 10,000 people these are the people who are exposed. Out of these 10,000 people, exposed people who are A plus B both, and exposed are A plus B, you can say, and non-exposed is C plus D. They are the people who are non-smoker. So non-smoker means reason not present, C plus D. So out of 10,000 BD smoker, how many do you think will develop throat cancer? 3 people, let's say 3 people develop throat cancer. And out of 10,000 non-BD smoker, how many people, non-smoker, how many will develop throat cancer? Suppose one develop it due to some radiation or some other reason. So A and C are 3 and 1. If you remove 3 and 1 from 10,000, the B will be 9,997 and D will be 9,999. Now, if you write A plus B is roughly equal to B, because A is almost negligible in front of B. And similarly, when I writing C plus D, I can write C plus D as B. Okay. So Dr. Anant Krishnan is 100% right. The original formula of odds ratio was A by A plus B by C plus D. This should be the original formula. And when we will read in cohort study, relative risk has the same formula, because relative risk also we write incidence of disease in exposed by incidence of disease in non-exposed. So we will read in cohort study, this is the formula of relative risk. But in this case scenario, we can write A plus B roughly as equal to B and C plus D roughly as equal to D. So then this formula become A by B by C by D, and in the next step it will go above and it will become AD by BC. So do remember this point, that if they gave this formula A by A plus B by C plus D, this will be the formula for relative risk, which we will read in just next 10 15 minutes. We will go to read relative risk thing. And this is the formula for odds ratio A by B by C by D or AD by BC. Why this formula I am writing different? Because initially case control was done mainly for rare disease. That's why. Okay. But if in any exam they gave you a common disease, don't turn back to this formula. Because people who are setting questions in exam, in your prof exam or NEET exam or any time, they don't know this all concept, that how the formula actually came. So they are expecting you to write odds ratio as AD by BC only, A by B by C by D, and relative risk as A by A plus B by C plus D. So this discussion which I did is just for your knowledge. It's not to be for the exam purpose. You will write relative risk as this, odds ratio as this. Okay, Anant Krishnan, bro, does it make sense? Yes, Anant Krishnan said this thing, that sir, then for common disease the formula is wrong. No, for common disease also, odds ratio always we will use the formula AD by BC, and relative risk we will always use the formula, because one thing which has been adopted goes like that now, and no one goes back to change the formula now. We go with this thing. One more reason some people give is they are comparing chance. So when they are comparing chance, they will compare A with B and C with D. Okay, so these are the two reasons why odds ratio has A by B by C by D. Okay. So do remember that is why I was telling you that do not write this part. This is just for quenching your knowledge. Do not change the formula for common disease, make odds ratio like this. No. Whether it's common disease or rare disease, odds ratio will always be A by B by C by D, and relative risk is always A by A plus B by C plus D. Okay. So don't change the formula for common disease. Don't do that mistake. Okay. Chalo, Anant Krishnan is okay, happy. And let's talk with one more example. Dr. Sutapa Sumanta was asking for it. So let's have one more example. Why not? Let's take some example from MBBS students. Is there any disease, any abnormality which is common in MBBS student about which you want to do a study? You want to know what is the reason? And let's take, you took 100 MBBS third prof student in one group and 100 MBBS third prof student in another group for anything which is common in student. So tell me, any abnormality, any disease in MBBS students in third prof? I want to give an example which correlate with your life so that you are more interested and you remember it example better. So liver cirrhosis and alcohol is the two thing that came in the reply. Alcohol is not a disease. Alcohol is a risk factor. So Dr. Lyon, I will take your example in cohort study, one group alcoholic, one group non-alcoholic. That means risk factor present absent, that is cohort. Liver cirrhosis we can say, but in MBBS, rarely we have students with liver cirrhosis. And so let's take some other point. One common issue which I found in MBBS student is anxiety. Anxiety. So there are, let's say, 100 people who are having anxiety. Lion has said it, depression, and S developer King Rural also said depression. So let's talk about anxiety and depression. Let's say anxiety, depression. And mostly whenever there is depression, anxiety is one of the symptom which is there in depression usually. They feel anxious about many issues. So let's say we have 100 people who are having anxiety and 100 people who are having no depression. Okay, they are cool and all. Okay, depressed and no depressed. Okay, and now you want to know what is the reason of their depression, why they became depressed, and why they are cool. So let's say Dr. Lyon or Dr. Mukund Gupta is also saying depression. Suppose Dr. Lyon or Mukund Gupta is doing this. Mukund Gupta is doing this study. So which group you should ask the question first? You should always ask first question with cases. Because remember, cases remember past, control forget about it. So they will tell better about the reason for their anxiety and all. But we can take history from any group first. Let's take the history. Yes, tell me. Dr. Partha Patil has a question, why there is no chat in Meded app? Because I cannot see YouTube and Telegram both at the same time. So I am entertaining YouTube chat, one chat at a time. And Partha, you are here. So share your doubt here. Why to look at the things which are not here? Let's enjoy what are with us. Okay. So tell me, what can be the reason of this depression and no depression? One reason of depression can be breakup. And a breakup can cause depression. I suffered from it in my internship time, 3-4 months. I had all this palpitation. I feel like something will come out after breakup and all. But sometimes breakup can cause depression, anxiety. Sometimes it can relieve breakup. Breakup can relieve the depression and anxiety. Acha hua gayi, acha hua gaya, and it can make you free from anxiety also. What can be the other reason of anxiety, depression? Yes, Dr. Mankarnika Mehtra is writing exam, huge syllabus. That means it is just result pressure. And a huge result pressure is there. And mostly result pressure is actually what people will think if I will fail, that create problem. And I think we should not give importance to this thing that what people will think. But what to do? We are social animal. We give importance to that and that create the pressure. So result pressure, of course, can cause some depression in some people. But I think the best way to prevent result pressure is start studying early. But even after starting study early, some people are still anxious during exam. So it can be. Some anxiety is good also. Due to that anxiety, we focus better. And that's okay also. Let's talk about some other reason. What I personally think is one reason which Dr. Lyon gave, scolding by professor during Viva can cause depression. No. Whenever a professor scold you in Viva, think that the professor might be suffering from constipation or might be beaten by his or her life partner in the night. So they are taking out on you. If you will think like that, you will feel pity on professor and you will never be depressed with their scolding. This is a good way by which you can relax. Even when they are scolding, you can laugh, thinking, oh, very highly constipated professor, and like that. Anyway, let's come here and let's take one major reason which I think can cause depression is lack of gratitude. People, I have found it again and again that people who are depressed, they keep finding out what is wrong in their life, and people who are cool and happy, they don't lack gratitude, they have gratitude, they keep thinking what is good in their life. And I like to discuss this topic very seriously because two of my close friend, they went through depression and then they had suicide in the past. And this is one topic which I really want to make it clear, because we all know when we are not depressed, when we are happy, we study for 2 hours, our outcome will be of 4 hours. But in the opposite is also true. When we are unhappy and depressed, we study for 4 hours, outcome will be of 2 hours. So let's remove this thing to improve our performance. What is this lack of gratitude thing? Like, if you see, what are the blessings of being a doctor? Can you tell me some blessings of being a doctor? Why we should be happy with being a doctor? What are the blessings of a doctor? For which thing we should be really grateful? One of the blessings of doctor, can you tell me some blessing? One blessing is definitely money. Definitely money is there. Mark my word, all of you, you are going to be rich in future. Minimum salary which you are going to earn as a doctor is around 2 lakh, 2.5 lakh, 3 lakh minimum. And with time, it will keep on increasing. Whatever money you have taken from your parents in your MBBS study, you will return it back to them in 1-2 years of your job. Yes, 1 crore, 2 crore, you will return in 2-3 years of your job. And so don't be hesitant in taking money from your parent, because whatever you are taking is just peanuts. Whatever you will give is very big as compared to it. Remember my word, and if you are not sure about it, how to earn money, call me, I will let you know how to do that. So money is definitely one thing which is the blessing of this profession. Second blessing is, of course, Dr. Partha Patil has said, noble profession. Wow, it can give us true happiness. How it can give us true happiness? See, many of you must have helped someone lying on road in your life. And if you remember that moment, when you were helping the person who was lying on road, you were not doing it to show it to some other person. You just did it because you felt like it. And after helping, you felt a real happiness. So there is a real happiness which comes by helping other. So we being doctor, we can go to, if wherever you are depressed in your life, go to any slum area or any poor people family, any rural poor area, and just roam around there and help someone with your knowledge. And you can help people with your knowledge without spending money, and you will get happiness, true happiness in your life. So that's why this profession is noble, because we need not to spend money to help people. And engineers need to spend money to help people, but we can only by our mind help people, and in return of help, we can also earn money. So that's very easy to help people and get true happiness. The third blessing of being a doctor is, of course, the respect. Very highly respected people we are. Now, right now, you are not feeling it because you are living in a medical college where there are too many doctors. And if you throw a stone on dog and it missed it, it will hit a doctor only. But when you will go and practice, you will feel huge respect there. Okay, very huge respect. I can tell you some stories there, but let's skip to other profession, other benefit. One more blessing is, we are never under anyone to work. Right now, I am teaching in this coaching or somewhere, but if I don't like, I can anytime kick on their bum and I can open my own shop. And I am not dependent on anyone to earn money. It's my choice. But a mechanical engineer cannot open a shop. So we are not dependent on anyone. One more blessing is, whether corona came or flood came, if you survived, your income will only increase. There is no chance of retirement or decreased income during natural calamity or something. So blessings, there are a lot of blessings of being a doctor. But still some doctors are not happy, they are depressed. So with those doctors, I want to ask one question, कि अब क्या भगवान बनोगे? Will you be God or what? This much blessing is good enough to be happy. But this is actually the problem of human mind. We came from thousands of years of living in forest areas. And in forest areas, suppose you are in a cave, making love to your beloved and are doing gupchup gupchup, and the cave door stone is not properly closed. So while making love also, you must be thinking that if a snake entered from the hole, it can go to any of your hole and can kill you. And so you are always thinking what is lacking in the cave, what is lacking in the life. And that is the problem with human mind, that in all of our life, 95% things are good. But our defective brain keep thinking about that 5% thing which is not there. And those people who are depressed, they are doing the same thing. They are looking at that 5% thing all the time. And people who are happy, they are counting 95% thing that, okay, these are good things also. And of course, everyone has 5% thing. Even in Ambani life, 5% thing will be bad. And so if you found Ambani sad, you will hit him. Why are you sad? But he is also, if he is doing this mistake of lacking gratitude, he will be depressed. And that's why in every religion, it was the custom that before eating food, we used to thank Almighty, thank our mother, thank farmer, thank family, friend. We used to feel the gratitude. But now we are not sharing the gratitude, so this anxiety, depression is increasing. That's one of my view. And so what I personally want to say, you give the message from this discussion is that if any of your friend is depressed, don't leave them alone. Like the mistake which I did, I left them alone thinking they will recover themselves, and they did suicide and all. So if any of your friend is depressed, don't leave them alone. Go there and talk. Ask them, what do you think is their blessing? And when they will count their blessing, they will realize that there is so much good in their life. And why to focus on breakup? Why not focus on all these blessings? And anyway, breakup is just a moment. Before that, you have good time together also. So you can remember that thing also. So when you will help your friend in coming out from depression by sharing blessing, you will realize you have many blessings also, and you will be happy yourself also. So please do practice it. Try to have the gratitude, because there is a lot of blessing of being a doctor. Okay. Now, thank you. But this is, I know it is not PSM, but I want you to be happy, because when you are happy, your performance in every area will increase. And by every area, I mean every area. Every area you will perform better. Okay. So let's say Dr. Lyon is doing this study, and he found that in this group of anxiety, out of 100, lack of gratitude is in 80 people. And in this group who are cool, not having anxiety, not having depression, lack of gratitude is in 40 people. So 40 and 80 came out here. If we turn it into 2/2 table of odds ratio, this will be the odds ratio 2/2 table. Here we have the people who are having the disease depressed. Here we are having the people who are having no depression. And then what is the reason? I am saying reason for depression is we are not trying to find out what is good in our life, lack of gratitude. And then there are people who don't lack, who have gratitude. They are the people who are not exposed, who are non-exposed. Non-exposed means without any issue. So they have gratitude. And like your medical college, I'm sure it must have many problems. But happy are those students who look at good opportunity. And sad are those people who keep on complaining. So don't join those complaining group. Okay. Try to join the group which is finding good. Okay. So this is the difference. And based on that, we said that depressed are also 100, non-depressed are also 100. Lack of gratitude in the depressed. How many lack gratitude in the depressed? 80. And how many lack gratitude in no depressed? 40. So when 80-40 is A and B, C and D will be 20 and 60. Okay. Now you can see this is a common disease. This is not a rare thing. But still, in the odds ratio, which formula you will use? Always you will use the formula A by B by C by D. Whether it's common disease or rare, formula will remain this only. And so it will become AD by BC, because it will go above in the up step, next step, and it will turn upside down. So cross multiplication AD-BC. If you solve it, A is 80, D is 60, B is 20, C is 40. It will cut 40 will cut 80 by 2, 20 will cut 60 by 3, so it will come 6. So if it came 6, what does it mean? It means that depression or anxiety is 6 times more. In which people it is 6 times more? 6 times more in people or student who lack gratitude. If you don't have gratitude, your chance of depression is 6 times more. That is what odds ratio tell us. How much more is the chance of depression? And for common disease also, the formula remain the same, AD by BC. So I hope this 2 example will stuck in your mind till your exam. and you will never be confused in explaining case control study in great detail. Okay. So this is case control, and the problem in case control is recall bias. Okay. Chal, very good. Now let's read the next study, which is the cohort study. But before going to the cohort study, let's understand what are the other name of case control. We call case control as backward, because remember we are taking past history. So backward can be called as retrospective, past, retro. And as I said, the most important thing is we start with disease like depression, like COVID, and we try to find the risk factor. We start with effect, try to know the cause. We start with outcome, try to know the exposure. परिणाम से कारण की ओर, outcome to exposure. This is the thing about case control. And we have discussed in last class that prevalence study is the other name of cross-sectional. What is prevalence means? Prevalence means old plus new case at present moment. So cross-sectional is prevalence, and backward retrospective or outcome to exposure, effect to cause, disease to risk factor are the 5 name of case control, which you need not to mug up. Just by knowing the concept, you can easily recall it. And you have to have the basic of it. Start with disease, go to the risk factor. Okay. So now let's read about cohort. Okay, this is done. So cohort is a very simple thing. Cohort simply means a group of people. Some group of people which we are following in time is cohort. Like as I said, you all are also a part of cohort study. You are taking this, listening to my lecture at PW Meded app. So maybe PW Meded people will compare your third prof result, your exam result with result of other app student or other students. And they will say our result is better than their result. So what they are doing, they are starting with some exposure. Exposure is this class. And then they will follow you in future and compare your results. So result is the outcome. So they will start with exposure, go to outcome. This is cohort, just opposite of case control. Remember, case control was starting with outcome, going to exposure. But what we are doing in cohort, we are giving you these classes as exposure, and then we will compare your result as outcome. So when I say exposure to outcome, that is cohort. Okay, that's the most important concept to remember. So let's do some study, cohort study, to understand this better. Okay, let's take an example to understand it better. Okay, one example which Dr. Lyon gave me was of alcohol. We can take that. Yes. Yes, very good. Let's take some example to understand it. Like, most important thing in cohort study you have to remember is when we start, one group is the one where risk factor is present, exposed, one group is risk factor absent. So Dr. Lyon gave me an example of alcohol. Let's say, for example, we take 100 students who drink alcohol and 100 students who are non-alcoholic. So we are taking alcoholic and non-alcoholic, and then we will follow them in the future. So let's do that. Let's understand it with a good example. We took 100 alcoholic students, and alcoholic we have to define. Alcoholic are those who are drinking more than or equal to 5 days per week. If you will not define it, your result will not be comparable, because many students drink it once at Saturday night. They are not alcoholic. Alcoholic means more than 5 days per week. Simple definition. And then you compare it with 100 non-alcoholic who never drink. Non-alcoholic are never touched alcohol, never touched it just to pass the glass, not to drink, like that. So this is exposed, non-exposed. You will again recruit them and you will match them. Match them means they should be almost similar. So if alcoholic are from third prof MBBS, you cannot take non-alcoholic from third prof engineering. So this also should be third prof MBBS. Same time you will take both of it. Okay. And then you will follow them in future for multiple outcome. One reason can lead to multiple outcome. So suppose you follow them up for 2 years till their MBBS journey, you followed them. What are the differences which will come? One difference will be about the dance. What do you think? Who will dance more, alcoholic or non-alcoholic? Who will have more dancing episode? It's not depend on alcohol, because I remember myself when I don't used to drink alcohol during my MBBS day, then I used to dance more. But anyway, it can differ. Okay, so dancing can be one thing you can compare. What else can be the difference in the two group? The second difference can be obesity, no, gastritis. Yes, gastritis we can compare. Gastritis, more chance of gastritis in alcoholic. Okay, because that is alcohol, so it can cause gastritis. You can compare in the two group in 2 year. Dance episodes you can compare. And then third thing you can compare is, let's say, how many fight they had during this 2 year, how many fight they had, fight or accident. So who do you think will have more chance of fighting or accident? Alcoholic have more chance of fight or accident, especially accident, because alcohol depress your inhibitory pathway and you take more risk, and therefore more chance of accident or fight is there. So let's say there is 100 people in both the group, 100 alcoholic, 100 non-alcoholic. How many do you think will have accident or fight out of this 100 alcoholic? दरुए लोगों में से 2 साल में कितने लोग भिड़ जाएंगे, आपस में गुत्था गुत्थी कर लेंगे, लड़ाई कर लेंगे? क्या लगता है, दरुए कितने लड़ेंगे? How many alcoholic will fight out of 100? How many non-alcoholic will fight out of 100? Okay, tell me. 90 will fight. Dr. Lion is definitely a non-alcoholic, so he's saying 90 will fight. Not 90 will fight, but let's say suppose 40 fight here, okay? And in the non-alcoholic group also there will be some reason, suppose 10 fight here. So 10 fight here, 40 fight there. Is it okay? 40 and 10, okay? So if 40 and 10 came out for this thing, then other dance will be, let's say 90 dance here, 80 dance here. Gastritis is of 60 people here, gastritis is of 50 people here. So if you will count total, it is 90, 60, 40, 190. And we took only 100 people. So how it came 190? Because in one alcoholic person, there can be multiple things. Like the same alcoholic can dance also, can have gastritis also, and can have accident also. That's why outcome total will be more. But let's say we have taken this fight factor, 40 fight here, 10 fight here, 40 and 10. So this is a simple example of cohort study. And as I said earlier, in cohort study, we try to compare risk ratio or relative risk. So what is risk ratio? Dr. Ashish Sahu is also non-alcoholic. He's saying 95 will fight. At 40 and 10, let's say, okay. So what is relative risk? Relative risk means incidence of disease in exposed by incidence of disease in non-exposed. So again, to understand this better, we should draw a 2x2 table again. And in this 2x2 table, this time, we will write again disease above. What is the disease we are talking about? Fight. Fight and no fight. Okay. And then what is the exposure? The reason for this thing? Alcohol. Alcoholic and non-alcoholic. These are the two groups. So this means those who are alcoholic, they are the one who are exposed. And those who are non-alcoholic, they are the one who are non-exposed. So exposed and non-exposed part, I think, is clear. That this two, A plus B, they are the one who are exposed. And these two, non-alcoholic C, D, they are the one who are non-exposed, C plus D. Okay. So exposed is A plus B, non-exposed is C plus D. And when we are comparing it in the alcoholic group, how many had fight? 40 had fight. In the non-alcoholic group, how many had fight? 10 had fight. And here, both alcoholic, non-alcoholic were 100 people. So A plus B is also 100. C plus D is also 100. Alcoholic is also 100. Non-alcoholic is also 100. Okay, this part is clear. Now, what is relative risk? Relative risk means incidence of disease in exposed. How many are exposed? Exposed are A plus B. This time we will write. And out of this exposed A plus B, who have disease, who have fight, A or B? A have the disease or fight. So that's why we write incidence of disease out of exposed. That means A by A plus B, because exposed is A plus B and disease occur in A, fight occur in A. And when we are writing incidence of disease in non-exposed are C plus D. They are the people who are non-alcoholic. And out of these C plus D, how many have the disease or fight? C. So this becomes the formula of relative risk. A by A plus B by C plus D. And in this formula, if you put the data, A is 40, A plus B is 100, C is 10, C plus D is 100. So in the next step, this 10 by 100 will go above. And when that will go above, it will become 40 by 100 multiplied by 100 by 10. Because remember, नीचे से ऊपर जाते ही उल्टा पुल्टा हो जाता है. When someone goes from denominator to numerator, it turns upside down. And here, therefore, 100 will cancel out. And finally, it will become 40 by 10 or 4. So what I'm trying to say here is that in most of the exam question, when they create question on this topic, they keep exposed, non-exposed equal. They put A plus B, C plus D both has equal 100. So if exposed, non-exposed are equal, then formula of relative risk is just equal to A by C. If exposed is equal to non-exposed. So in exam, mostly when they ask question from relative risk, don't be worried that I need to apply this big formula. No. In exam, you can do questions with this short formula also, just A by C, 40 by 10, and you will know the answer. And here it is coming 4. So what does 4 means? 4 means that the risk of, this is some other example which I discussed. 4 means that the risk of fight is how much more in alcoholic? 4 times more in alcoholic as compared to non-alcoholic. So risk of fight 4 times more in alcoholic. So whenever we use the word odds ratio or relative risk, whenever we discuss, we use the word time. Remember in last example, it was coming, depression was 6 times more, time. So whenever you find in the question time, it means either relative risk or odds ratio. Here risk of fight is 4 times more in alcoholic. That's what came out. 4 times more in exposed. Exposed means those who are having risk factor present, and risk factor was alcohol. Okay, so this part I think is very simple and clear. Yes, Dr. Sutapa Samantha is willing to take some example where exposed and non-exposed are not same. Yes, I will give you one numerical where exposed, non-exposed will not be same, and I will ask you to calculate relative risk. But before that, let's first understand 2 more things, AR and PAR. And I will of course create that example where they are not equal. We will come to that. First have this understanding, what is attributable risk? Okay. So attributable risk means how many accident is due to alcohol. Due to. Like let me ask this question with Dr. Ashish Sahu bro. Ashish bro, why are you successful in your life? When I ask this question in some of the classes, students say, am I successful? Yes, you are successful. Go to any class and ask them, students of 4, 5 class, 2, 3 class, what do you want to become in life? 80% of them will shout, doctor, 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 and you are already doctor. You are in top 5% of Indian population, youth population. So all of you are definitely successful in your life, and have that confidence inside you. You are successful actually. So if I ask whom you attribute your success to, so you can say my success is, Ashish Sahu had not written, but he might say my success is due to my ex-girlfriend or due to my mother, father. And in one of a class, a student said, sir, due to teacher. I said, Rulayegi kya pagli hai na? You are giving too much credit to teacher. And in one of the class, a student said, I am successful due to my hard work. Maine kari mehnat, mere success. So whenever we give credit for some work to someone, it means we are attributing it to them. That is attributable risk. So let's understand our scenario. In this example which we just discussed, 40 are the accident in alcoholic, 10 are the accident in non-alcoholic. 40 fight here, 10 fight here. So how many fight is due to alcohol? Can you tell me? Is this whole 40 fight is due to alcohol? How many fight is due to alcohol? What do you think? How many fight is due to alcohol in this example? Some of you can say that yes sir, 40 fight is due to alcohol, but no. You can see here, 10 people can fight even without drinking. They don't need alcohol to fight or do accident. So that means not all 40 fight is due to alcohol. 40 minus 10, 30 fight is due to alcohol. Because 10 people can fight anyway. So we cannot give credit of all 40 fight to alcohol. We have to do 40 minus 10. That will give us the fight which is due to alcohol. Because 10 people can fight without alcohol also. So we subtract them. So very good. Dr. Parthi Patil and Lion and Mirja and Mukund Gupta, they all answered 30. I hope you understand this thing. So how we find attributable risk? We first find out that how many fight occur in alcoholic. Incidence in alcoholic. Alcoholic means exposed. How many people had fight in the exposed group? 40. And to get the 30 answer, what we did? We subtract those fight which occur in non-exposed. Incidence in non-alcoholic. Who were non-alcoholic? Non-alcoholic were non-exposed. Okay. So that means attributable risk simply means incidence in exposed minus incidence in non-exposed. When we do 40 minus 10, then we get 30. And we can say 30 fight is due to alcohol. Okay. So this is the concept. This is attributable risk. How many fight is due to alcohol? And in all the USMLE book and UK book, they discuss attributable risk like this. How many fight is due to alcohol? Okay. Now, I think this is clear. 40 minus 10 you will do, 30 fight is due to alcohol. One more thing which people in public health, they want to know is that if people stop drinking alcohol, how much fight will decrease? If people stop drinking, how much fight will be less? That is known as the third concept, population attributable risk. I hope attributable risk is clear to all of you. How many accident is due to alcohol? That is exposed minus non-exposed. Total. If I want to know population attributable risk, population attributable risk means if people stop drinking alcohol, fight will decrease by how much? So whenever they talk about population attributable risk, they use the word decrease by how much? Okay. So tell me, if people stop drinking alcohol, how much fight will decrease by? To find that thing, what we can do is, we can first find out that what is the total fight which is occurring in this whole study. What is the incidence in population? How much is the total fight which is occurring in the population? The total fight in the population is 40 plus 10. 40 in alcoholic, 10 in non-alcoholic, 50 fight in population. And out of this 50 fight, how many fight is in those people who are not drinking alcohol? Incidence in non-exposed. How many fight occurring in those who are non-exposed? Tell me. How many fight is occurring in those who were non-exposed? 10 fight. 10 fight occurring in non-alcoholic. 50 fight occurring total. So, and you can tell it simply by this story also. In this story, if I remove the alcohol, how much fight will decrease? Total fight is 50. If I remove the alcoholic group, if people stop drinking, then fight will decrease by how much? fight will decrease by 40 because alcoholic group has 40 fight. So if I stop drinking alcohol in the whole population, fight will decrease by 40. 40 fight will become less and only 10 fight will remain. And so this is the point which you have to understand, that in population attributable risk, we try to know that if the whole third prof stop drinking alcohol, fight will decrease by how much? And to find that decrease by, what we do incidence in population minus incidence in non-exposed. 50 minus 10, total 40 fight will decrease because 40 fight were in the alcoholic group. So if you remove the alcoholic group, it will 40 fight which will be less. How much it will become less? 40 less fight will be there. So this is the concept of attributable and population attributable risk, which they teach in all the USMLE book and all the book of public health like Leon Goddess and all the UK book and a PLAB exams and all, they teach this concept. But this is not the definition given in PARC textbook, and we have to study PARC textbook for Indian exams, Indian prof and all. So what is the difference in Indian and foreign book is, when we discuss the same concept in Indian book, let's say PARC textbook, then they compare this alcoholic incidence with total alcoholic, total exposed, and multiply it by 100. And when they discuss this population attributable risk, they discuss, again they take this population minus non-exposed, but this time they compare it with total incidence in population and multiply it by 100. So whatever result comes in Indian book is always in percentage, because we are comparing it with total exposed in attributable risk and we are comparing them with total population in population attributable risk. लेकिन इंडियन डेफिनेशन में जाने से पहले आप मुझे ये बताइए कि क्या आपको एट्रीब्यूटेबल और पॉपुलेशन एट्रीब्यूटेबल रिस्क समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं। मैं एक बार सभी के मदद के लिए एक बार हिंदी में भी इसको सिंपल में समझा देता हूं, क्या है ये दोनों चीज। बहुत ही आसान सी बात है। एट्रीब्यूटेबल का मतलब कि कितनी लड़ाइयां दारू की वजह से हुई। तो 40 लड़ाई दारू वाले कर रहे थे, 10 लड़ाई बिना दारू वाले भी कर रहे थे, यानी पूरी 40 की 40 लड़ाई दारू की वजह से नहीं हुई। दारू की वजह से कितनी लड़ाई हुई वो निकालने के लिए हमें एक्सपोज्ड यानी दरुए ग्रुप की लड़ाई को माइनस करना पड़ेगा नॉन एक्सपोज यानी नॉन दरुए ग्रुप की लड़ाई से, और 40 माइनस 10 करेंगे तो 30 लड़ाई हमें सिंपल दिख रही है कि दारू की वजह से हुई है। तो वजह से हुई है वही एट्रीब्यूटेबल रिस्क है। जब हम बात करते हैं पॉपुलेशन एट्रीब्यूटेबल रिस्क की, तो हम ये समझने की कोशिश करते हैं कि अगर थर्ड प्रॉफ एमबीबीएस के स्टूडेंट या जनता दारू पीना छोड़ दे तो लड़ाई कितनी कम होगी। तो अगर थर्ड प्रॉफ की जनता या पूरी पॉपुलेशन जो हमारी स्टडी में है दारू पीना छोड़ दे, कितनी लड़ाई कम होगी ये निकालना हो, तो हमें पहले तो ये पता लगाना पड़ेगा कि पूरी जनता में लड़ाई हो कितनी रही है। तो पूरी जनता में कितनी लड़ाई हो रही थी? 50, 40 दरुए में, 10 नॉन दरुए में, और उससे हमें वो माइनस करना पड़ेगा कि कितनी लड़ाई बिना दारू पिए भी हो रही है। बिना दारू पिए कितनी लड़ाई हो रही है? नॉन एक्सपोज में कितनी हो रही है? 10। तो जब हम 50 में से 10 माइनस कर देंगे तो आएगा 40। और आप उस एग्जाम्पल में भी देख पा रहे थे कि अल्कोहलिक जो लोग थे, दरुए जो थे, वो 40 लड़ाई कर रहे थे। तो यानी अगर लोग दारू पीना छोड़ दे तो कितनी लड़ाई कम हो जाएगी? 40 लड़ाई कम हो जाएगी। यही पॉपुलेशन एट्रीब्यूटेबल रिस्क है। तो आई थिंक इतनी बात तो सिंपल हो रही है कि एट्रीब्यूटेबल रिस्क का मतलब एक्सपोज्ड माइनस नॉन एक्सपोज्ड होता है, और पॉपुलेशन एट्रीब्यूटेबल रिस्क का मतलब पॉपुलेशन माइनस नॉन एक्सपोज्ड होता है। नॉन एक्सपोज्ड दोनों में सेम है। जब एट्रीब्यूटेबल रिस्क की बात करेंगे तो यहां पे एक्सपोज लिखेंगे, और जब पॉपुलेशन एट्रीब्यूटेबल रिस्क की बात करेंगे तो यहां पे पॉपुलेशन लिखेंगे। क्या ये बात सिंपल डिफिनेशन यूएसएमली वाला तो आपको समझ में आ रहा है ना? अब मैं कह क्या रहा हूं कि जब हम इंडियन डिफिनेशन की बात करते हैं तो इंडियन डिफिनेशन में हम इन दोनों को परसेंटेज में लाते हैं। परसेंटेज में लाने के लिए हम क्या करते हैं कि एट्रीब्यूटेबल रिस्क में हम कंपेयर करते हैं कि दारू की वजह से जो टोटल लड़ाई हो रही थी, कितनी हो रही थी? 30 लड़ाई। वो टोटल जो दरुए लड़े उसका कितना परसेंटेज है? टोटल दारू वाले ग्रुप कितने लड़े? 40। उसमें से दारू की वजह से कितने लड़े? 30। तो जब हम 30/40 इंटू 100 करेंगे, 3/4 इंटू 100 75% आ जाएगा। तो हम ये कह सकते हैं कि 75% लड़ाई जो दरुओं में हुई थी वो दारू की वजह से हुई थी। पूरे पॉपुलेशन की बात हम नहीं कर रहे हैं, हम किन की बात कर रहे हैं? जो दरुए थे उनमें 75% लड़ाई दारू की वजह से हुई थी। और जब हम पॉपुलेशन एट्रीब्यूटेबल रिस्क की बात करेंगे तो जाहिर सी बात है उसको टोटल पॉपुलेशन से कंपेयर करेंगे और 100 से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे, तो हमें पॉपुलेशन एट्रीब्यूटेबल रिस्क भी परसेंटेज में आ जाएगा, है ना। सो व्हाट आई वाज सेइंग इन हिंदी वाज, आई थिंक दिस पार्ट इज क्लियर. Attributable risk is due to how many fight is due to alcohol. To find that out, we found that 40 fight were in alcoholic, 10 were in non-alcoholic. That means 40 minus 10, 30 fight is due to alcohol. Not all 40 were due to alcohol. So this is US Assembly definition of attributable. 30 fight is due to alcohol. But in Indian definition, we are comparing this how many fight is due to alcohol out of total alcoholic group total exposed. And total alcoholic had 40 fight. So we compare 30/40 into 100. That will come 75%. So we can say 75% fight is due to alcohol. That is attributable risk. But when we talk about population attributable risk, we want to know that if people stop drinking alcohol, how much fight will decrease by. And to find that out, we first found that what is the total number of fight? 50. But out of that 50 fight, how many fight were occurring in people who were non-alcoholic? 10. So if we subtract 50 from 10 from 50, we got that 40 fight will be less if people stop drinking. And it's quite clear that because in the alcoholic group there were 40 fight, so if alcoholic group is removed, if people stop drinking alcohol, 40 fight will be less. And it's quite obvious that in population attributable risk, we compare that with total population and multiply by 100 to get it in percentage. Okay. So do remember this point that in attributable and population attributable risk, both the formula, we always subtract by incidence in non-exposed. This part remains same. When it is population attributable risk, we write population in both numerator denominator. And when it is attributable risk, we write exposed in both numerator denominator. So if I change the word exposed with population, both numerator denominator, formula of AR will become PAR. Let me write those Indian formula in detail. What is the formula of attributable risk in Indian book like Park? Incidence in exposed by incidence in non-exposed by incidence in exposed. And what is the definition of population attributable risk in Indian Park book? Incidence in population minus incidence in non-exposed by incidence in population. So what I was telling you is that if I change the word population, if population is changed by exposed, if I change population by exposed, what will happen? If population is changed by exposed, PAR become AR. Can you agree here with me? If I change population with exposed, PAR will become AR. So remembering the definition is not tough if you understand the concept. Concept is attributable risk tell us how many fight is due to alcohol, which is exposed minus non-exposed. Population attributable risk tell us how many fight will decrease if people stop drinking alcohol. That is population minus non-exposed. So whenever we change population by exposed, PAR become AR. And I think this part is clear. The definition is clear. Now we can calculate both PAR and AR in our example. Okay, so let's calculate that also. So now let's also see your doubt question which clarify the things. The question which S developer King Rural is saying that, sir, in population risk, if 40 fight reduces if alcohol is stopped, then this 40 fight is solely due to alcohol. Then no dear, no. Not 40 fight is due to solely alcohol. What I was saying is that 30 fight is due to alcohol. The question of developer King Rural is, let me clarify the question. If population risk is in population attributable risk, if 40 fight reduces if alcohol is stopped, then it means 40 fight is solely due to alcohol. Then why attributable risk due to alcohol isn't 40? Because in attributable risk, we are trying to compare that how many fight is due to alcohol, and because 10 fight can occur even in non-drinker, so we subtract 40 with 10 and we got 30. In population attributable risk, we started with population. So we are not starting with 40. We are starting with 40 plus 10, total 50 people. And I understand your point, your logic, that here not all 40 is due to alcohol. I agree, only 30 out of 40 is due to alcohol. But if I just want to know that if I remove alcoholic group, on removing alcoholic group, how much fight will decrease? So on removing alcoholic group, 40 fight will decrease, na? That you agree, na? That when I remove alcoholic group, 40 fight will go away. In the total population, if 50 fight is occurring, finally only 40 fight will go away, because 40 were the fight which were coming from the alcoholic group. I'm not saying all the 40 fight is due to alcohol. I'm just saying that if you remove alcoholic group, you will remove 40 fight. 40 fight will decrease. That is population attributable risk. Okay. So I hope it is clear, but if it's still not clear, feel free to ask it. Developer King Rural. If not clear, let me know. Okay. Tommy is saying, sir, एक बार रैपिड रिवीजन करवा दो प्लीज. नहीं, आरआर करवा दो प्लीज. आरआर मींस रिलेटिव रिस्क करवा दो प्लीज. रिलेटिव रिस्क इज वेरी सिंपल. रिलेटिव रिस्क मींस कितनी गुना ज्यादा लड़ाई दरुओं में हुई है नॉन दरुओं के मुकाबले. तो दरुओं में 40 लड़ाई, नॉन दरुओं में 10 लड़ाई, यानी 4 गुना ज्यादा लड़ाई हो रही है ना. यही रिलेटिव रिस्क है. What I was saying in Hindi was relative risk is very simple. It simply means as compared to alcoholic, how many fight is in non-alcoholic, or you can say we compare the two group. Then what is the risk of fight in alcoholic as compared to non-alcoholic? So we can see it simply. Alcoholic group had 40 fight, non-alcoholic group has 10 fight. So 40 by 10 means 4 times more fight. That is what relative risk tell us. How many time more fight, कितनी गुना ज्यादा लड़ाई हुई, 4 गुना ज्यादा लड़ाई हुई. ठीक है. तो रिलेटिव रिस्क क्या बता रहा है, कितने गुना ज्यादा लड़ाई हुई, 4 गुना ज्यादा. एट्रीब्यूटेबल रिस्क क्या बताता है कि दारू की वजह से कितनी हुई, 30 लड़ाई, 40 माइनस 10. पॉपुलेशन एट्रीब्यूटेबल रिस्क क्या बताता है कि अगर दरुओं को हटा दे तो पूरी जनता में लड़ाई कितनी कम हो जाएगी, 40 कम हो जाएगी. तो ये 3 अलग अलग चीज हैं. आई होप इट इज क्लियर. रिलेटिव रिस्क से हाउ मेनी टाइम मोर फाइट इन अल्कोहलिक, 4 टाइम मोर. Attributable risk say how many fight is due to alcohol, 40 minus 10, 30 fight is due to alcohol. And population attributable risk tell us that if you remove alcoholic group in the whole population, how much fight will decrease. So total 50 fight is in the whole population. If you remove alcoholic, 40 fight will decrease. So this is the 3 thing. I hope all these 3 is clear. Let me know if it is not clear. Okay, but I hope it is simple and you understand. But whatever seems simple to me may be tough to you, because I have to read only one subject and I'm reading it for in 2013 May I joined AIMS New Delhi for PG, so it's been 12 years. So for me it's simple. If it is your doubt is legitimate and it is a confusing topic, so if there is any doubt, feel free to ask it. Okay. One of the question which Mirza asked, can you explain why odds ratio we made A plus B equal to B? That is not worth discussing again and again. It was just an explanation why the formula was there. If you will go on that thing again and again, you will be confused more. Remember, odds ratio is A by B by C by D. And the logic which I gave, because you ask and your question is never small and all your question is significant. So the logic was that odds ratio was initially done for rare disease. And because it was initially done for rare disease, so A plus B is almost equal to B. So that's why in the denominator we can write A by B rather than writing A by A plus B. Does it make sense, Dr. Mirza? Okay, let me know. Chalo. So it's clear. You have done it. Okay. Now, this is the formula. I think the formula is something which you will keep in mind. Let's calculate our attributable risk in this study. So if you write the big formula of attributable risk, it will be incidence in exposed means exposed is A plus B, and incidence new fight is A. How many fight occurred? 40. So A by A plus B minus incidence in non-exposed we have already written in the relative risk formula, C by C plus D, divided by A plus B, multiply by 100. This becomes the formula of attributable risk. But if A प्लस बी इज इक्वल टू सी प्लस डी। अगर दरुए नॉन दरुए बराबर हैं, इफ अल्कोहलिक नॉन अल्कोहलिक, exposed non exposed are equal, if they are equal, like in this example they were equal 100. So if they are equal, we will cut them out, and final formula of attributable risk become A minus C by A into 100. Okay, so this is the attributable risk formula. And what was the formula of relative risk? A by C. If exposed non exposed are equal, then there is no problem in doing calculation. We can simply do it by A by C, and AR is A minus C by A into 100. So let's do it in our question. In our question, what was the A? How many fight? 40 fight. How many fight were in non-alcoholic group? 10 fight. And how many fight were in alcoholic? 40 into 100. So we have already done this numerical solving orally. When I say 40 minus 10 is 30. 30 by 40 into 100 is 3 by 4 into 100. And 3 by 400 is 75%. So I can say that if attributable risk is coming 75%, it means 75% fight. In which group? In the whole population or in the exposed? 75% fight in exposed alcoholic group is due to alcohol. Remember this point, that attributable risk do not talk about whole population. Attributable risk talk about that how many fight in the alcoholic group is due to alcohol. दरुओं में कितनी लड़ाई दारू की वजह से हो रही है? तो दरुओं में टोटल लड़ाई 40 हो रही है, 30 हो रही है दारू की वजह से, तो 30 by 40 75%. And what I was saying in Hindi is, in the alcoholic group total fight was 40, out of which 30 is due to alcohol. So 30 by 40 into 100, 75% is due to alcohol. That is attributable risk. Now let's calculate population attributable risk also. The formula is incidence in population minus non-exposed by incidence in population. So let's put the things in the formula. What was the total population in our study? 200 people, 100 alcoholic, 100 non-alcoholic. And how much total fight occur in our study? 40 plus 10. Total 50 fight occur in our study. Then how much is the incidence in non-exposed? In the non-exposed, total 10 fight occur and there were only 100 people. We divided by incidence in population. What was that? 50 by 200. We already have written it. This is the incidence in population. And this is the formula of population attributable risk. Incidence population minus non-exposed by population into 100. So if you solve it, 50 by 200 and all these things, solving it need old math skill. First of all, what we will do is, we will take a common denominator of 200 and 100. So common denominator of 200 and 100 is 200. If this is the common denominator, 50 remains same. But we multiply 10 with 2. Why we multiply 10 with 2? Old math trick. If you want to change 100 into 200, you multiply both numerator denominator with 2. है ना? पढ़ा था मैथ में ना कि नीचे को अगर 200 करना है तो ऊपर नीचे दोनों को 2 से मल्टीप्लाई कर दो. तो वही कर रहा हूं मैं. आई एम डूइंग द सेम थिंग, that we are multiplying numerator denominator both with 2 to get common denominator of 200. So this is the numerator part, and this 50 by 200, which is the denominator, it will go above in the next step. If it will go above, it will turn upside down, it will become 200 by 50, and we multiply it by 100. So if you solve this, PAR will come. So what will be the PAR? PAR will be 50 minus 20, 30 by 200. But this 200 will cancel out with this 200. So 30 by 50 into 100. 30 by 50 means 6 by 10 into 100 if you cut them by 5. And 6 by 10 into 100 is 60%. So that means, what is, if PAR is coming 60%, what does it mean? If PAR is coming 60%, it means that if PAR is 60%, it means if student population of our study, if population stop drinking alcohol, how much fight will decrease? Fight will decrease by 60%. Fight will decrease by 60%. So this is what population attributable risk means. If people stop doing this risky behavior, how much total disease will decrease by, and that will decrease by 60%. Okay, so you can see calculation of PAR is not so easy. That's why in exam they usually don't give you to calculate PAR, but in prof exam they can give it. So we should know how to do it. But in generally in all the NEET and INICT exam or USMLE and all, they give RR and AR calculation sometime, but not PAR. And when they give RR, AR also, they use the simpler formula A by C or A minus C by A into 100. But as I promised to Dr. Sutapa Sumantha that we will practice one question where exposed, non-exposed are not equal. We will practice that also. Let's do that. But before going there, let's see if there is any doubt. Manish Yadav has found it 80%. Manisha Yadav. 60% is there. It's okay. Calculation is a bit tricky. We can do mistake, and we should do mistake in the class to understand it much better. Anand Krishna has a question that, sir, population attributable risk in this study population only, right? Not entire population. Yes, dear. Whenever we talk about population, we are talking about our study population. We do not know about the whole world, but we know about our 200 people. So when I say population, it means what I am saying. I am saying our study population on which 200 people I am doing the study. I can only tell about them. Okay. You are right, Dr. Anand Krishnan. And Dr. Sutapa Samantha is saying, sir, please tell once 50 by 200. Oh, you want to do that calculation part? So I will tell that 50 by 200 thing is the denominator. How it came denominator? Because total fight was 14 alcoholic, 10 in non-alcoholic. So we add 50. And total population was 100 people, 100 alcoholic, 100 non-alcoholic. So that's why total population is 200. And out of them, how many is the total fight? 50. So that's why we got 50 by 200. Okay, I hope it is clear. If it is not, we will make it clear with one more example. So let's have one more example. But I don't have empty slide for that. Let's create an empty slide. Ah, yes, we have that. And Dr. Mirza, I hope it is clear. Why A plus B is almost equal to B? Because A is almost negligible. So we make it B, and that's why it was, the formula came AB by CD. But this is just for your knowledge. Don't write it in exam, because in exam you have to use this original formula, odds ratio AB by CD, relative risk A by A plus B by C plus D. Okay. Chalo, Dr. Mirza, are you satisfied with my explanation? Please tell. Anna, do let me know whenever you ask it out and I explain. Let me know if it is clear or not. Because if it is not clear, I will be more than happy if you ask it again and again. Okay. It makes me feel that you are interested in knowing, learning. That's why you are asking questions. So your question motivates me. So please keep asking your question. Okay. That many times your question help your friends to clear their doubt also. And so keep asking the question. Let's do one numerical here. Numerical is that out of 1 lakh population, 20 case of cancer occurred in 20,000 smoker. Okay. If 2 cases of cancer occurred in non-smoker, find relative risk. So let's do this numerical, which is based on different number of people who are exposed and non-exposed. And so this is what example which Dr. Sutapa Sumantha was asking, and it's there. Find relative risk. Let me calculate it also. This is first time I created this data. 20 by 2000, 2 by okay. Okay, option A. Is it 10 time? B. Is it Is it 5 time? Is it 2.5 time? Is it? It's an interesting question, Anna. I hope you can find it out. Lion is asking the question from last population attributable risk. Why 200 not 100? Because total population means alcoholic, non-alcoholic both. Alcoholic we are 100, non-alcoholic we are 100. So if you add them, it becomes 200. That's why total population was 200. Okay. Dr. Sutapa, is it clear why it is 50 by 200? Do let me know. Okay. Chalo. Let's do this question also. Find relative risk. Do the calculation and let me have one more option now. Let's create this option. 40 also. Let's do that. Yes. These are the 4 options. Find relative risk. Can anybody? Yes, Mirja, Dr. Mirja, thank you for saying yes, it is clear, and Lion also saying got it clear. Okay. So now, can anybody tell me the answer of this question? What is the definition of relative risk? Relative risk definition was incidence in exposed by incidence in non-exposed. That means first we have to find what were the total smokers. Exposed were smokers. So we will find a smoker, and out of the smoker we will write cancer here. Then we will divide them by non-smoker, and out of the non-smoker how many had cancer. That's all. We do not multiply by 100. So simply you have to do cancer by smoker, cancer by non-smoker, and you will get the answer. So 3 people have given the answer. Let's do the calculation. Let's try to find it out ourselves. When we do such question, there is 2 ways of doing it. First way is make denominator equal. Let me explain this thing. How many were smoker in our question? In our question, smoker were 20,000. And out of those 20,000, how many develop cancer? 20. Then how many were non-smoker? Total population is 1 lakh. In 1 lakh, if 20,000 are smoker, that means 1 lakh minus 20,000, 80,000 are non-smoker. And we have to put it, the cancer in non-smoker is 2. So this is the data which you have to solve to get the answer. So one way of doing it is simple mathematics. Just make this denominator go above, it will go above, turn upside down, and it will become 20 by 20,000 multiplied by 80,000 by 2. So 20,000 will cut 80,000 by 4, and 2 will cut 20 by 10. So 10 into 4, it will come 40, which is the answer. 40. This is simple mathematical solving by cutting them out. Second tricky method is you make denominator same. Like make both of them 80,000. And to make both of them 80,000, you have to multiply both numerator denominator by 4. So multiply them by 4 and 4. When you will multiply them by 4 and 4, this 80,000 and 80,000 will cancel out. Finally, you have 20 into 4. 20 into 4 is 80 by 2. And 80 by 2 will be 40. So you can solve it in 2 ways. One way, doing the calculation simply. One way, making the denominator same. Make them both 80,000. And to make 20,000 80,000, you will multiply 20,000 with 4. And when you will multiply 20,000 with 4, you also have to multiply numerator 20 with 4. So finally, it will be 80 by 2. And 80 by 2, we all know, is 40. So we can get the answer like this as 40. So this is 2 ways of doing it. You can use any one of the way and do it. Okay. So very good, Dr. Sutapa. Because of your question, है ना. Remember, this was the question of Dr. Sutapa Sumanta, that sir, can you give us an example where exposed and non-exposed are unequal? So because of her question, you can see we have learned a new type of questions which can come in the exam also, and this is one of the neat PYQ which has came actually. So your question always help your batchmate also, so keep asking the question part. Oh, suddenly I came to know that my time of class 8:30 has passed away. It's 8:37, but I want to teach more, you know? So let's learn some more thing here, you know, let's learn some more thing here. The main thing which we have discussed till now is about relative risk, attributable risk, population attributable risk. I hope you are also in mood to study, I am not pressurizing you. Anyway, if you are not in mood, you can always listen it later on, but listening it with the flow will clear your doubt also. So let's hear. There are two problems in cohort study also. One is attrition bias, one is Hawthorne bias. What is attrition bias? It means loss to follow up bias. Let's say, let's understand it. Tommy is saying, sir, relative risk karwa do please. Kya karwa do? What do you want me to explain? This is relative risk, as I said. Let me explain this with one more example. Suppose there are 100 people who are a smoker. Let me explain all the three things with a simple example. 100 people who are a smoker. A smoker is not a so much common thing. Let's take some another rare example. 100 people who are ordering every food online. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything online. 100 people. No. 100 people who are okay, let's go with a smoker. And 100 people who are non-smoker. Okay. And I want to know that how many smoker can lead to cough. Simple thing, cough, not cancer, because I sometimes also smoke. So when I talk about cancer, I get scared myself. So 100 people smoker, out of them 10 people had cough, and 100 people who were non-smoker, 5 people had cough. And this 10 and 5 cough is something which you came to know after follow up of 1 month. In 1 month, how many had cough in smoker, in non-smoker? 10 and 5 cough. So in relative risk, what we have to compare? Incidence in exposed by incidence in non-exposed. You can tell me, मेरे भाई डॉक्टर टॉमी, यू कैन टेल मी, टॉमी भाई बताओ कि कितने गुना ज्यादा खांसी सुट्टे वालों में हुई है नॉन सुट्टे वालों के मुकाबले. एज कंपेयर टू नॉन स्मोकर, हाउ मेनी टाइम मोर कफ ऑकर इन स्मोकर ग्रुप. बताओ, सुट्टे वालों में कितने गुना ज्यादा खांसी है. इसी को रिलेटिव रिस्क कहते हैं. सुट्टे वालों में 10 खांसी, नॉन सुट्टों में 5, तो रिलेटिव रिस्क कितना आ गया? 10/5 यानी 2. यानी सुट्टा पियोगे तो खांसी आने का चांस 1 महीने में 2 गुना ज्यादा है. What I'm saying in relative risk is exposed minus non-exposed. You can see here 10 people had cough, here 5 people had cough. So how many time more cough? 2 time more cough. That is relative risk. My dear friend Tommy, is it clear or not? Please let me know. Okay. Now, if I want to know attributable risk, it is exposed minus non-exposed by exposed. And whenever they are 100 and 100, we do A minus C by A, 10 minus 5 by 10. 10 minus 5 by 10 into 100, if you will do, it will come 5 by 10 into 100. And 5 by 10 into 100 means 50%. Simple, because 1010 will cancel 50%. So I can say 50% of the cough is in the smoker group is due to smoking. And you can see, it means this line meaning is different. We are talking about different example here. आपको यहां समझ में आ रहा होगा कि सुट्टे वाले में 10 खांसी हुई, नहीं सुट्टे वाले में 5 खांसी हुई. तो कितनी खांसी सुट्टे की वजह से हुई है? 5 तो वैसे भी खांस देते, है ना, सर्दी की वजह से या कुछ और वजह से. 10 माइनस 5 खांसी ही सुट्टे की वजह से हुई है. और वो 5 10 का कितना परसेंट है? 5-10 का 50% है. What I'm saying is 10 cuff in a smoker, 5 in non-smoker. So 10 minus 5 will give us attributable risk. And 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 is how much of 10? 5 is 50% of 10. So that means 50% of cough which occur in the smoker group is due to smoking. Okay. And when we want to know population attributable risk, it will come 33% here. Whenever it is half, 10 and 5, 40 and 20, 80 and 40, half hoga, so PAR will come 33%. If you want, I can calculate it, it will come 33%. If it came 33%, it means if population stop smoking, which population? Study population, as Dr. Anand Krishnan said, if a study population stop smoking, cough will decrease by 33%. Cough will decrease by 33%. So this is a second example. Again, I am giving two example in case control and cohort both, so that if you do not understand by one example, at least by second you can understand it. And I hope this question which Dr. Tommy asked again and again, explain relative risk, that lead me to explain it with second example, and it must have helped some of you to understand these concepts better. So these are the three formula. Exposed by non-exposed is RR, exposed minus non-exposed by exposed is AR, population minus non-exposed by population into 100 is PAR. Is this three thing clear to you, Dr. Tommy? Please tell me. अच्छा, Tommy is saying, sir, RR is not rapid relative risk, it is rapid revision करवा दो. हाँ, तो this is the rapid revision of RR, AR, PAR. Is this part clear? That RR is exposed, and this part is clear na? Okay. And case control part, rapid revision is very simple. That case control, we start with disease, non-disease. We try to go in past and know the reason, and there we find odds ratio. And to find the odds ratio, the formula is A by B by C by D. So the content is this one slide, and the other slide is of the odds ratio, which we already done. So rapid revision is that much only. Tommy is saying maja aa gaya, sir. Oh, Tommy was expecting this much rapid revision only of the three things. So thank you, Tommy, for asking it, and I hope this helped you also. Now, let me explain you what is this two thing, attrition bias and Hawthorne bias, the two problem of cohort study. What is attrition bias? Attrition means loss to follow up. Let me explain this thing. Suppose I am doing a study on the same thing, let's say, whether smoking lead to cough or not. Okay. So in your batch, there are 100 smokers and there are 100 who are non-smoker. Okay. And then I am following them up for 1 year. I followed them. 1 year follow up. So after 1 year follow up, I want to compare what is the incidence. But in cohort, we do follow up every day. So it means every day I will be standing outside your class and asking the same question. Did you have cough today? Did you have cough today? Aaj khansi hui kya? Aaj khansi hui kya? Why I am asking did you have cough today? Because I want to know new case of cough. And new case means incidence. So this is actually the beauty of cohort study. Cohort study tell us incidence. आप ही एक बात बताओ ना, आपको आपका नया बॉयफ्रेंड, नई गर्लफ्रेंड फ्यूचर में मिलेगी या पास्ट में? पास्ट में तो एक्स है और एक्स इज गॉन, है ना, जस्ट लाइक माय लव इज गॉन, है ना. सो पास्ट कैन नॉट फाइंड न्यू केस. New case, just like new boyfriend, new girlfriend will occur in future, new case or incidents can only be found in future. And because cohort goes in future, we call cohort study as incidence study, because it is telling us new case. So when I want to know new case, I keep asking this question, did you have cough today? Did you have cough today? So all the smoker, they will be highly irritated with my question, because they know they are doing something wrong and I am poking into their wrong habit. So in 1-2 months, they will try to run away without giving me answer. And if I forcefully ask them, they will say, yes, I have cough. Should I spit it on your face or what? They will be irritated with my question. And finally, after 1 year, only 20 students will be left in the study. 80 will leave the study because they know they are doing something wrong. So they will gradually leave. But these people who are non-smoker, they will keep answering me. And even if I am not asking questions from them, they will call me and tell me, hey, see, I don't have cough. Will you not take my sputum today? Because they are not doing anything wrong. So they don't have any guilt in them. They will continue till end, and all 100 continue till end. So what will happen at the end is I have unequal number in the two group. So I will not be able to get correct result, comparable result. This is attrition. What is attrition? One group of participants leave the study before completion, other group continue. That lead to wrong result. Okay. So if any one group leave, one group stay, that is attrition bias. It occur in cohort study. Mainly. It can also occur in RCT, but mainly in cohort study it occur. Then, they can also leave due to death or migration also. Yes, that can also be the reason. Yes, Dr. Abhi Gotecha, you are right. Okay, chalo. Now, what is Hawthorne bias? See, it's a very simple thing. Hawthorne bias means when you know you are under observation, your behavior changes. Like, let me give you a simple example. Suppose you are in a class or in a mall or somewhere, in a pub or somewhere, where you noticed that the girl you like is looking at you. Suddenly your body language will change. And if you're a boy, you will be like, Appu. And then you will be talking with your friend with full exposure, like, yeah, and with full body movement and all, to impress the girl, to take her attention towards you. Your behavior will become abnormal. And it's not only with boys. Even girls' behavior changes. And suppose you are a girl and you came to notice that the boy you like is looking at you. Suddenly you will be like, and you will be playing with your eyes, with your smile, with your hair. So that is Hawthorne bias. When you know you are under attention, your body language will change. Let me tell you the reality how this bias came into existence. Actually, this Hawthorne was a place in London where there was a shoe making factory. And this is the story of before industrial revolution. So at that time, manager used to give them very poor light condition and all. So one time a kind-hearted researcher, someone like you, went there and said, why are you giving them poor light? Give them more light, they will produce more shoes. So the manager was a typical manager. He said, hey, prove it to me that they will produce more shoes in more light and I will give them more light. So the researcher divided the labor into two groups. One group working in good light, one group working in poor light. And after 3 months, they compared the number of shoes. So what is the expectation? Good light will produce more shoes. That is the expectation. But you know what the result came? The result came, both group produced same number of shoes. Why? Because the group who were working in poor light, even they know that they are under study. So they kept working and produced large number of shoes. If you know you are under study, you will work more and your behavior will be different than expected. That is lead to wrong result, and that is known as Hawthorne bias. And it's a very simple thing. Like, for example, during lockdowns or during vacations, when you are at your family, oh, you are so innocent at your home, no abusing, no cigarette, no alcohol, nothing. But when you came back to hostel, like, teri de sutta de daru, and you came in your real form in your hostel. Why? Because you know at your home you are under attention, and therefore your behavior become very soft, sophisticated, aristocrat, normal. Because you know at your home, if you light a cigarette in front of your father, it can go the wrong way. So you cannot take the risk there. That is Hawthorne bias. That if you know you are under observation, your behavior will be different. That make the result uncomparable or wrong. That is why it is known as Hawthorne bias. And both the things occur in cohort study. Still, cohort study is better than case control, because in case control, we don't observe them. We just ask history, and history can be wrong. But in cohort, we observe them and we are more sure what is going to happen in the future if we are observing them. Okay. So this is the two type of study, cohort, case control. And what are the other name of cohort? Very simple to understand. As I said, cohort goes in future, we call it prospective. Forward, because it is going in future. Follow-up, because we are doing follow-up. Incidence, because remember, new boyfriend, new girlfriend in future. In future only cohort goes, so we call it incidence study, not case control cannot be called incidence. Case control is retrospective, backward. Now one more name is longitudinal, and longitudinal, I discussed it in cross-sectional also, and longitudinal means multiple cross-sectional study at fixed time gap on same population is longitudinal. Like for example, let's say in your group, suppose Dr. Tommy and Dr. Anand Krishnan, they both become surgeon. So Dr. Tommy is surgeon, Dr. Anand Krishnan is surgeon. They both did 100 surgery. Dr. Tommy used laparoscopic surgery, and Dr. Anand Krishnan did open laparotomy, open surgery. And then they want to compare that which surgery of hernia have less reoccurrence. So they will say to the patient that keep coming to us every 6 months and keep reporting whether you have reoccurrence of hernia or not. So every 6 month patient are coming, 6 months, then 1 year, then 1.5 year. And every time you are observing this 100 patients. So what you are doing? You are doing multiple time observation of this 200 people. You are doing multiple cross-sectional observation. You are doing on these 200 people. And you are doing them in future at some time gap. So this is longitudinal study, multiple cross-sectional study in future at some time gap. If you do follow up daily, it become normal cohort. If you do follow up at some gap, it become longitudinal cohort or longitudinal study. Okay, so it's almost the same thing. Then the main concept is always we start with the reason exposure, go to the outcome. Like exposure was the alcohol, outcome was the fight. We go with risk factor to disease. Like risk factor was smoking, disease was cough. We go from cause to effect. Like cause was the alcohol, effect was the accident. So this is just opposite to case control in that way. I hope you will remember all these names. I hope you will remember the different type of bias which occur. And one main thing you should know is why we do matching. Main purpose of matching is matching removes selection bias. What is selection bias? Selection bias means if you want to know the cause of depression and one group you took third prof MBBS, one group you took intern. So they two are not comparable for depression. Intern will have more pressure or something. And so the two group is uncomparable because you have not matched them. Your selection was wrong. One group was third prof, one group was intern. So wrong selection you did. So to remove this selection problem, you match them and then take them in the study. And the best way to remove selection bias is randomization. What is randomization? Randomization we will read in RCT tomorrow. Randomization means you ask them to choose from chit. So if they are choosing chit randomly, they will go in the two group. So third prof and intern both will get mixed. And then you cannot have third prof in one group, intern in another. So if you have third prof and intern separate, that is causing selection bias. If you match them third prof and third prof, third prof and third prof, like that you take, it will remove selection bias. First method is matching, but better method is randomization. Don't select anyone. Like what is the best method to lose weight for me? Don't eat. Simple. If I don't eat, no obesity. Similarly, what is the best method of removing selection bias? Don't select anyone. Ask them to go randomly and selection bias will go away. We will read about selection bias in detail in our next session. We will read RCT in our next session. And today I was planning to discuss 3 types of cohort, but I have only discussed 1 type of cohort. So we are left with 2 more cohort and many questions on case control cohort study. So tomorrow's session from 7 to 8:30 will have lots of question to practice and it have interesting discussion of 2 other type of cohort also with simple example. I hope today's class help you to understand the concept well. You enjoyed it, I hope. And if you have any doubt, any question from my today class, keep asking it. Sutapa has a question, Dr. Sutapa Sumanta, why we call it forward prospective? Because we are going in future. Like I started with smoking. In future, after 1 month, I want to know how many had cough. So because we are going in future, so we call it forward. And prospective means future. Like I can ask, what is your future perspective? Prospective. What will you do? Where will you see yourself after 5 years? So see yourself after 5 years means forward or prospective. And that's what we do in cohort. We go in future. I gave you a very simple example that right now you are in PW Meded app and they will compare your result with students of other app. And they will say my app is better after comparing you in future for next 1 year. So there is a cohort study on you people also going, and you will be compared in future. So because you are going in future and compared, so it's forward or prospective. Okay. And I'm very happy with Dr. Sutapa Sumantha, Dr. Tommy, Dr. Anant Krishnan, and all the students who asked question, Dr. Lion, Mukund Gupta, all the question who answer, student who are replying, I am happy with them also. But if you are asking question, you are not only making me happy, you are making late Abdul Kalam Azad soul happy also, because he said that first sign of a student is a student ask question. So if you're asking question, you are making his dead soul happy. So keep asking question like all this friend, and we will be meeting soon tomorrow at 7 p.m. Till then, hasta la vista, das vidania. Thank you so much. Dr. Manisha is saying today's class was nice, and some of you laughing, sending me heart. Thank you so much. Love you all. Bye bye. Good night. Keep rocking. Bye bye. Don't be